Just bringing in a little bit of a different video, although I probably say that every time I do a video, but I'm trying to mix it up a little bit with things that I'm doing. I suppose it is fairly different from anything that I've shown you before. My lathe is down for action at the moment. Seems one of the contactors has gone out in it and replaced that now. Just take you over and just show you the job that I'm doing at the moment. I've got my mate Rob in the background. He's going to do, I suppose, the supervising role. Yeah, you'll be doing the supervising anyway. And anyway, the plus is that he's not going to charge me while he's watching. So we sort of help each other out from time to time with jobs. So it's a pretty long-term relationship that we've had, or friendship, I should say. And he's just going to do all the final checks and so on. I am licensed to do disconnect, reconnect, but he came in and done the contacts. He's just going to check everything over, more so that what's been done and fire up the lathe and just check for anything else while he's here. When we do fire it up, but we've done what we need to do, and it seems to be a fault in the contactor, and one of the wires is actually loose on one of the connections too, which probably didn't help things much. But I'm just going to take you down and show you what I'm up to. As I say, nothing too big deal as for swapping out contactors, I suppose, and taking boards in and out, but the difficulty of it is where I've got the machine, so that's where it's sort of my job now and not Rob's job to get this sorted out. You might remember if I've showed you the workshop tour that a couple of videos back, but I've got the lathe pretty much right in the corner because I don't have the biggest workshop, so I've had to sort of like get it into the corner but just leave a reasonable amount of serviceable space. So I'll just take you down and show you where I've been up to so far before we get into it. Just bringing you down on the board. Obviously taking the board out would make it easier, and disconnected all the wires, which I'll take you in and show you. I think there's something like just over 30 wires to disconnect and reconnect, so there is a little bit in it, but most of the work is in the board. Just reconnections mostly down the bottom, and a couple up onto different what am I going to say? Circuit breakers is the word I'm looking for. So most of it's in there, but just most of the cables will come up from the bottom when you go around the back, and I'll just show you quickly around the back there where we're going. As I say, from sort of referring back to the tour, the workshop tour, you've probably seen when I brought you over to the lathe, we've got a bit of mess in the corner here. Just bring a bit of light up so we can see. But I keep all my sort of short offcuts in the corner there for odd jobs and so on, and all my main stuff over eventually in a steel rack when I get around the building. So we don't have a lot of space in there. We've probably got, I don't know, probably a bit over a foot of space probably in there, or about 400 mil gap in there, so I can get in there, but it's not nice. And then so obviously around the back of the machine where most of the electrical work goes, taking you around the back now. Nothing too big deal. All I've done so far is clean the floor best as I can. I haven't gone crazy, but I've cleaned the floor below the machine. You can pretty much guarantee I'll drop a screw down there. So I've cleaned that to try and find a screw amongst all the swarf, which was fun. I thought I'll do that first rather than muck around trying to fish a tiny little screw you'll never ever find. And I probably won't find it anyway, but just give myself the best chance. Now swinging you around to the back of the machine, which is to the right, and just right round the back. So we're probably off the board. It's probably from the board, face of the board to the actual walls, probably, I'd probably say less than a foot or less than 300 mil in the metric scale, which is what we're working. So we've got the cable sticking up from the bottom there. Fairly typical type of layout with different connections for different ancillaries and so on to turn different things on and off. Nothing too big deal there. Probably the difficulty of the point of bringing you in for the video is just to show you the hassles of having a small workshop, I suppose, and making use of the space that you have. In the case of my shop, where I don't have the biggest workshop, trying to utilise the space best as I can. It doesn't make things very serviceable. So that's the box where it all goes. And now next job after this video is to, well, after I finish shooting this video, is to get this board mounted in. I've got a light hanging above where it's in a nice spot where it can probably drop down and hit me on the head. So I've just got that sitting there to give me a bit of light down there. And now the main thing now is just to get that board mounted in there. As I say, clean the floor, get the board in there and do all the reconnections. So that's probably the main thing to do now, and Rob's just going to hang around and when we fire it up and just check everything, make sure there's no other dramas anyway besides what the work that we've done so far. Get the machine fired up and just check if everything flicks on and off. He's welcome to go. So in the back, he'll just hang around in the background until this is all done, and he'll just come back and check what I've done, and and we'll flick the switch and get it all going again, hopefully, providing there's nothing else wrong. It's what we can see anyway, what we've found so far, but you never know anyway, so that's the main reason I got him to hang around. But anyway, that'll probably do for this one. Probably nothing too exciting, but just thought I'd just bring in on, just a bit of a hassle job that, things just happen sometimes. It's just now the jobs are starting to come in lathe wise at the moment. Typical, my lathe goes down and all the jobs start raining in for the lathe work. So I'll be happy to get it going again. It'd be even better if the Mazak was going, but that's a story for another day and another job for another day. So that would help if that was going. I could probably set the jobs up over there. But anyway, we'll get to that eventually. I'll just sort of bring you on this little bit of a shorter video, something different. And I'll probably try and include you on some of the things in the workshop. Might be interesting, just to add a bit of different flavour, I suppose, to the videos that I do. Trying to find things that might be interesting to you guys to watch is probably the hardest thing, and not make the videos too long and too boring. But otherwise, I better sign off at that before I start putting these guys to sleep. And just now the job is just get that board into the back of the machine. So that's probably the hassle at the moment, is trying to hold it up while I get the screws back in. So that's going to be the interesting part, what sort of holding that and trying to stick one screw in it. And once I've got it hanging, it's not too bad, but just getting that first screw in there, it's not too bad. Probably weighs around, I don't know, at a guesstimate, probably because it's got a transformer and everything on it. At a guess, I'd probably say it weighs around 10 kilos, so it's not the easiest thing to hold with one hand while you're sticking the screw in there. But other than that, we'll look forward to bringing you back for another video soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye for now.